Hey everybody, welcome into the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan, Tyler, Jack, O'Rourke, Nick Padone. Happy hump day, fellas. I like Wednesdays. It gets you a little reminder you're getting through the week, closer to the weekend. You're past the brutal Mondays and Tuesdays of the world. You got something to look forward to, a little light at the end of the tunnel. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing great, Nick. I don't know how you're doing, but yeah, I mean, like you said, it's Wednesday. It's kind of like a stepping stone that you check off throughout the week. Like, hey, if I got through my Wednesday, we're good, because Thursday is when the weekend starts, basically. Like, Thursday is the first fun day of the week. You got the fun meetings, all that stuff. Then you rolled right into Friday and right on into your weekend.
Especially for us, we got a fun Thursday planned tomorrow.
We do, yeah. We have a really fun
Thursday.
Thursday.
To that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how can you hate Wednesdays? I love Wednesdays. We got a lot to talk about, guys. NBA trade deadline literally one day away. I think 3 p.m. is when it cuts off. Eastern time, that is. Jameis Winston is literally taking over Media Day in New Orleans. I mean, literally national treasure. Guys, MJ's son is arrested. Does that factor into the GOAT debate? I don't know. I'll let you decide. I'm going to ask you guys that. I actually have some, not funny footage, but you know what I mean. Joe Biden signs an agency deal. Probably doesn't mean exactly what you think it does, but we'll talk about that. But we start with the NBA trade deadline, guys. We are right around the corner. And the NBA trade deadline is probably, I guess, I think you'd agree, the most fun deadline in sports. I think you see the most action happen probably pretty rarely in Major League Baseball in terms of big stars.
Oh, yeah, there's every single year, I think, in baseball.
You think so? In big stars?
Yeah, for sure. But baseball is more rentals, I would say, than guys that could make an impact for a couple years to come. But I think baseball is always fun to look at what teams are going to tool up and get those guys who only have 2 months on their contract. That's how you get those great James Shields for 18-year-old Fernando Tatis type of deals.
Fair enough. Yeah, the high schoolers. Very rarely do you see it in. That reminded me of Wander Franco in the NFL.
He's going away for a long time. He's playing in the prison league, and he cannot get traded out. Believe it or not.
Longest yard, first team All Pro. NFL, you rarely see big giant moves like that. I feel like at the trade deadline, very rarely does that happen. But Kevin Durant is probably the biggest name, along with Jimmy Butler, at this trade deadline as we wait to see if they get moved. Mark Stein, Jake Fisher say there's a quote rising belief that Durant could be traded. Potentially a reunion with the Golden State Warriors. Athletic reports that the Suns would be seeking a deal involving Draymond Green and Jonathan Kuminga, who, by the way, has the funniest nickname. I'm not going to say it in the entire history of the NBA, if you know what I'm referring to. It involves a bucket. Dallas Mavericks have also shown interest in Kevin Durant. That would be crazy after the whole AD shabacle. Nick, can you foresee a world Kevin Durant to the Warriors? I know we talked a little pre-show. Just give it up. Embrace the rebuild. You had the golden years. Steph Curry's getting old. What are your thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, the Warriors refuse to let go of what's going on. You know, Steph Curry and Draymond Green aren't getting any younger. Draymond Green was never really that good, and now he's the same player, but just a whole lot older. They're refusing to embrace the rebuild. You know, they want to go back to 2017, 2018 when they won the 2 championships with Kevin Durant. You can't really blame them for that, because those were, really good years. If you're a Phoenix, or, if you're a Golden State Warrior fan, they dominated the league. So, yeah, the Warriors thing wouldn't surprise me. The Mavericks thing wouldn't surprise me either, because they're just – that Nico Harrison is just a force to be reckoned with. Like, I don't know what that guy's on. And then I saw the Houston Rockets got axed, but it really feels like, yeah, KD could be on the move. Like, now that Mark Stein, Zach Lowe starting to report on this, like, this could be another big trade deadline. It's funny, like a week ago, everybody was saying this is going to be a quiet trade deadline. Luka gets moved, De'Aaron Fox gets moved, and now, like, the whole league's on fire.
I mean, Nick, you made a great point there. It's a total domino effect type of league. Like, look back at 2016-17's offseason. After the Cavs won the championship, KD chooses to go to the Warriors. There's a bit of a salary cap pump. You see Timofey Mozgov and Chandler Parsons both getting $90+ million deals. That's what's kind of happening right now. I mean, no one saw Luka getting traded, a kid who's top 3 in the league at a very, very young age. And that's going to totally have a domino effect over the next couple of weeks. Like you said, I mean, it's crazy. I don't think I heard Luka once until he got traded. And we didn't even really hear anything about KD the last couple of weeks either. And then out of nowhere, boom, here it goes.
Are Kevin Durant's rings fake? Is that still a narrative that we push?
I mean, so far, maybe if he went back and won one with like these, AARP Warriors, maybe that would be a legitimate ring, because the Warriors are literally like the 10th seed out there in the West. How about this? Here's another fun trade destination. What about, we're talking about reunions in Golden State. What about Oklahoma City? What about the Thunder? They've done a tremendous job stockpiling assets and young players and namely draft picks. They're the number one team in the league. You don't need draft picks as the number one team in the league. Like, talk about a move that would push them over the hump and make them, title contenders. It doesn't have to be KD's show. It could still be SGA. That'd be an interesting landing spot.
That would be interesting. I wonder if Oklahoma City fans would embrace that, because I feel like they were definitely bitter. Obviously, I mean, how could you not after he went to Golden State?
Did you see Cavs fans after LeBron came back?
No,
I think they'll embrace that, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little different though. But I mean, LeBron was still the best player on the team when he came. I think it would still be SGA if Kevin Durant went there.
I don't think it changes the fans' emotions, though. I do think they'd be happy, especially after all that went through. Like, he's in Seattle for a year, gets out there, he leads them to their first success ever. I think the crazy thing would be if you brought Russ back, though, to come off the bench, and you really got him back together.
We need the Supersonics back. I miss that team. They had some of the best colors
coolest
ever.
Jerseys, yeah.
Yeah, they really did.
Time heals all wounds also. Like, that was like KD left the Thunder almost 10 years ago. It's crazy to think.
Wow. That is crazy to think about. Him, Harden, Westbrook, Kendrick Perkins taking on LeBron in the finals. So yeah, Serge Ibaka.
Nick Collison.
I think Thabo Cephalosha might have been on that team as well.
I saw a tweet about Serge Ibaka the other day that the Mavericks got more for Serge Ibaka than they did for Luka, which I thought was funny.
Yeah. Reported DeAndre Hunter may be coming to the Cavs, a potential trade destination, provide some perimeter defense, perimeter play. Obviously, we've yet to have anything resemble a superstar wing ever since LeBron left here in Cleveland. I feel like that would be interesting. Other names that they have listed here, Kevin Durant, I mentioned Jimmy Butler, Cam Johnson, Brandon Ingram, who just seems to always be on the trade market, CJ McCollum, Chris Middleton, Bradley Beal, Julius Randle, Nick Claxton, Bruce Brown. That rounds out the top 10. Any of those names do anything for you guys?
Bruce Brown, if we get Lana Rhodes to town. Don't they have a kid together?
Is that the NBA player she has a kid with?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I didn't know that. Interesting. Colin Sexton, Lonzo Ball, Larry Nance, Marcus Smart, D'Lo, Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Clarkson, Bones Highland, and Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is interesting because if you're the Cavaliers, you don't necessarily need him for offense. He's an elite defensive guard. He can pretty much guard 1 to 4, 5 if you need. Depending on what it would be, I always felt like Ben Simmons was going to somehow make his way to Cleveland.
I kind of feel that way about Lonzo Ball, and that's if these two guys are bought out. The Cavs, too, I think they could do something. The DeAndre Hunter thing would be a dream. I think the Cam Johnson thing might be put to bed. The Nets probably want too much. DeAndre Hunter would be a dream. Like, if you could flip George Niang, Karis LeVert, at 2031 first-round pick for DeAndre Hunter, like, that's definitely a win-now move. But too, like, flipping Niang and LeVert would get you under that luxury tax threshold, which, this year is the most expensive that it's ever been. So they definitely want to do that. I would love to see the Cavs do something small, especially because we've seen them kind of have struggles and slips, if you will, against some of the top teams in the league, especially the ones with, dynamic athletic wings like the Boston Celtics, like the OKC Thunder, like the Houston Rockets. Like, if you want to be the last team standing, if you want to hoist the Larry O'Brien at the end of this thing, like, those are the teams that you're going to have to beat. So I would love to see them do something small.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Cavs, you're Kobe Altman, you watch them lose to the Celtics last night. I mean, the difference Kristaps Porzingis makes in that lineup is just enormous. They're a good team without him, but then you put in him a stretch 5. I mean, they're just clearly – I'm not saying that they're – well, you know what? I am saying it. They're a better team than the Cavs. I think they have more talent all around, and I think DeAndre Hunter would help a lot of that. When you watch guys, I mean, you can't really expect without Isaac Okoro to limit, and the keyword is limit, both Jaylen Brown and or Jason Tatum. I think that would be huge to get some length there for the Cavs. I don't know.
What do you think it would cost to get DeAndre Hunter? Do you have any speculation on what that may be?
No idea.
But you wouldn't have to touch the core 4, right?
No. It would
Otherwise,
be some mix of Strus, LeVert, Niang, and the 2031 first-round pick. Maybe Jalen Tyson. Jalen Tyson, I think, he probably has some value, too, because that's technically that's actually a first-round pick. So I think it's feasible.
What about
without touching the core four?
Not that he's like a needle-moving name, but one of the names you mentioned on that list, Ryan, I just love Larry Nance Jr. Maybe it's that he has Crohn's disease. Maybe he was here for a while, but he was wearing the Nick Gilbert I saw when the Hawks were in town a couple weeks ago. He just seems like he's going to be back in Cleveland at some point. He seems like a Carlos Santana type guy.
He was also a part of the most craziest SpongeBob edit I've ever seen.
Anyone I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What was he, Patrick Starr dunking on somebody?
Yeah, and it was in those ugly-ass Gray City Edition jerseys. You remember those ones, like the race stripe ones?
Those were so gross.
Dude, there was a kid in my high school, and this was like before, not that he ever got cool, but like before Chetty Osmond was like kind of the new deli in town. This one kid had the
last
Chetty Osmond Gray City Edition jersey, and it was the ugliest thing of all time. I'm the worst player on the roster.
And I bet he wore it all the time. Like people that buy those like
every dress down day. Yeah, every dress down day. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dress down days where Ryan, what do you know about dress down days?
I don't know anything. I dress down every day. Me and Jack actually talked about that, like the benefits and not, I guess, the cons of going to an all boys school, because we
did have a good convo about that.
At first, I didn't think in my head, I'm like, being surrounded by dudes every day, no thanks. But the way Jack described it, as it's like so funny. You don't go there. You don't have to dress to impress anybody. Like you don't have to be funny. It's just chill.
Like the classroom's just dudes hanging out. You know, like it's just a bunch of guys talking, telling jokes. No one's trying to impress any girls. Usually the teachers that if they're typically guys, also like it's usually a little bit more like not bro-y, I would say, but like they kind of get you a little bit more. They don't have to sugarcoat things as much. Like it's a good time.
Kind of sounds like prison.
Prison?
Yeah.
I mean, there's girls in prison.
No ass
on different floors.
But different floors.
Yeah, there's different floors, but you can still see people.
All right.
It's like a dorm room.
Fair enough. All right, we got to take
co-ed dorm though. Mine were as well. All my neighbors were girls.
Yeah, I had co-ed dorms too. That's not a thing everywhere though, right?
I think some schools do it like by floor. Like this is a boys' floor, this is a girls' floor. Like that might be, maybe that's me being an old head.
No, we had that in some of our dorms. Yeah.
UC did that as well. They're separated by gender. Although I don't know if you're allowed to do that these days with all the people out there. Anyways, we got to take a first break. When we get back, we're flipping it over to football. Jameis Winston, our beloved once quarterback, what are you laughing at, is taking over New Orleans as Super Bowl 59 is just days away. We'll break that down and more when we come back here on The Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan Tyler, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Padone. We are brought to you today and every day, of course, by our great friends at Fairway Ford Ohio. Fairway Ford Ohio is the biggest Ford truck dealership in the state. They have the largest selection of Ford F-150s as well as Super Duty trucks, and I promise you they will not be beat on price by any other Ford dealers. Do not let a short drive to Canfield prevent you from saving thousands, yes, that's thousands, on your new truck. Fairway Ford, the largest inventory of new Ford trucks, lowest pricing, and the same hometown level of service. Visit fairwayfordohio.com. That's fairwayfordohio.com. Well, you can probably get a Fairway Ford truck cheaper than a Super Bowl ticket. The prices are out the wazoo. I saw like the cheapest one was probably about 4 bands. Jack, could you afford 4 bands to go to Super Bowl licks?
If I put a couple things on layaway and hit a nice parlay on Jalen Tyson to have 30, 30, and 30 the next time the Cavs are on the floor.
Your OnlyFans hasn't taken off yet?
No, I mean not as much as I hope, man. But you got to start somewhere, right? I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Very true, very true. It'll grow. Jameis Winston taking over media day at Super Bowl licks, I like to call it. He is a moonlighting. Fox Sports digital correspondent for the network, just throwing out W's to everywhere. I got a video for you guys. Here he is throwing out a W to Travis Kelce.
I'm going to try and catch a W for you, big dog. Just catch this W first. Oh! Thank you, my brother. Can you catch one more for me so we can get a clean W? Hey, you know, somebody always trying to intercept my stuff. You know what I'm saying? I ain't think it was going to happen here. All right, brother. Love you, man. Baby.
I mean, how can you not love Jameis Winston? We got to watch him play here in Cleveland and gave us the littlest bit of fun in a just hell-ridden purgatory season. We've had the pleasure of introducing him here on the Big Play Sports Network, doing the food tours. Nick, you got to drive around with him. You got to do that whole shebang. I mean, so you've spent time with Jameis Winston, just the most charismatic, just I'm trying to think of the word, contagious human beings that I've ever met.
Yeah, for sure, man. He's just fun. Like everything that we did with him, whether it was in studio, whether we were at restaurants, like we just had a ton of fun with Jameis all throughout the fall. Like it's a little bit unfortunate the Brown season kind of played out the way that it did, because it kind of made it hard for us to do a lot of content with Jameis in season, because he had to start for a while and then he, got benched, and then it just made it really hard on content, when the starting quarterback was also trying to be a content creator. But everything that we had the pleasure of doing with him was exactly that. And it was the same way, like when the camera was off as when it was on. Like, that's not a hammed up personality. Like, that's not manufactured. Like, that's how he actually is. And it is contagious. Like, you walk away, from those shoots, and we did a lot of those shoots at night. He would spend the entire day in the facility, and then we would go shoot with him at night at these restaurants and stuff. And it was like, Ryan, I know you guys know, he would come into Burke kind of late at night. And it was just like, you walk away from that after a long day of work, and you've got, your stuff going on at home. You got meetings, you got stuff that happened throughout the day, but you come across human beings like Jameis. And it just is a reminder of why we all do this, because sports are supposed to be fun. Like, Jameis Winston stands for everything that sports are supposed to be. So love seeing our guy out there doing big things at the Super Bowl.
I think he's so interesting, as you said. Like, just the way he acts on camera isn't an act at all.
No,
it's
like
the way he is.
Real.
And I mean, just thinking of his journey throughout football in the NFL, right? Like, you come in high school, you're a 5-star recruit, you go to Florida State, you win him a national championship, you win the Heisman, you get drafted #1 overall, the hilarious 30 for 30 season. And while his NFL career probably didn't, amount to the expectations he had hoped for, he's made such a career of just now mentoring guys. And we saw that here in Cleveland and brought some of the most fun moments. I mean, that Denver game was just the loss, I'll bite it. It was such a fun game to see. And he's so funny, and he's literally taking over media day. I want to play one more video because he caught up with Saquon Barkley talking about free agency, because we know he might not be back here in Cleveland next year, but I thought this was funny. And did Saquon take a shot at the Giants? I don't know. You guys decide.
One more question, Saquon. One more question. In this free agency, man, I'm a free agent. I really don't got no job. Who should sign me in free agency? I think New York needs a little bit right now. New York? Who? Okay, brother. Thank you.
New York Giants need a quarterback. Saquon said that. Could we see Jameis Winston to the New York Giants?
There's a Giants fan who that was the last straw when he saw that video. The season's been over for a couple weeks now. The Danny Dimes contract is the Danny Dimes contract. He went on Twitter Jameis Winston content. That's cool. I'll check it out. Everyone likes him nationally. Click on and one more stray. You might have jumped.
Yeah, but inversely, like, you get Jameis, so you're going to be buckled in for a season full of fun. I definitely thought that was a shot at the Giants. Can I also just say, like, I've been to a couple of these Super Bowl media nights. Jameis Winston is made for Super Bowl media night. Like, Super Bowl media night is the most unserious, nonsensical. You've got reporters that come from every single crick and crevice from the entire world. And then, you got Guillermo from Jimmy Kimmel sauntering around. Like, funny. It is the biggest zoo that I've ever been a part of in my career. And then I've done it multiple times, and it's the same way every single time. Like, there's nothing serious happening. Like, Jameis is literally meant for Super Bowl media night.
I lied. I want to play one more video of him talking to Andy Reid, and Andy Reid just never fails to disappoint in terms of his wardrobe. The Hawaiian shirt galore. I love Andy Reid. I have some hate for the Chiefs because of how great they are, but I don't think anyone in this world could ever make me hate Andy Reid. I'm going to play this video real quick.
Coach, man, I'm honored to grow up during this time, to see you coaching in multiple Super Bowls for my favorite team and now for the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, I hope I can play for you one day. I know it's free agency. Can you do one thing for me, though? Can you eat a W with me? Can you catch?
I can catch.
Thank you, Coach. I enjoy watching your punt, pass, and kick competition.
Yeah, I wish I could throw it as well as you do.
Thank you, Coach.
You heard him reference Andy Reid's punt pass competition. Are you guys familiar with that?
I'm not.
So
No.
I don't have the. You're not, Nick?
No, I've not.
I should have got
off the top.
I should have got the video. You guys have to Google this. And if you're listening, you haven't seen this. It's Andy Reid when he was 13, though he looked like, and he's basically, it's a competition to see who can throw the farthest pass. And Andy Reid is a straight beefcake at 13 years old. Like
I've seen this.
He looks like he's pushing 200 at 13, and he launches the ball 50 yards and clears everybody. It's not even close. So Andy Reid has always been a big boy eating the nuggies. You should definitely go Google that if you haven't seen it.
I have to.
But well, we're just days away from the Super Bowl, guys. Before we move on, are you guys excited for Tom Brady's call?
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, he got so much scrutiny throughout the season. You know, any slip up he had, awful announcing, was clipping it and you know, tweeting it out. But he got better all throughout the season. Like, there's nobody I would want to hear Super Bowl insight from more than Tom Brady. Maybe Bill Belichick, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited too about the matchup. Like, I know people are dogging the matchup. Like, I saw ticket prices fell yesterday under $4,000 for the first time in like a very long time. So people are kind of hating on the matchup, but the Eagles are really good. I like Saquon Barkley. I like what they've been able to do this entire postseason. And then it's on the other side, it's history. So I'm as excited for any Super Bowl as I could possibly be, because my team's not in it, has never been in it, is going to be a long time till they're
Never
in it.
will be in it.
I'm excited, you know, because like this is like all I know Super Bowls to be. Like, you just take them at the surface level. You sit down at 6:30, you watch the game. They got some funny commercials. You do the halftime show, and the confetti falls at the end. Like, I don't know what people are expecting out of this.
What would you rather have, Greg Olsen, Jack?
Oh, I want third leg Greg on the call for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's the broadcasters don't really change it for me. I say that as someone who broadcasted for a really long time, but I'm going to watch it if Tom Brady calls. I'm going to watch it if Tom Brady doesn't call it. Like, the broadcast team has really moved the needle for me either way. It's a spectacle of an event. You don't need a certain broadcaster to watch.
Well, before
we got a little breaking news on the Big Factor. From ESPN's Shams Charania, the Milwaukee Bucks are trading Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, and a pick swap to the Washington Wizards for Kyle Kuzma, Patrick Baldwin Jr., and a second-round draft compensation. Kyle Kuzma joins Damian Lillard and Giannis.
Chris Middleton
Milwaukee.
has to be
That's crazy.
sick to his stomach right now. Oh my God, that poor
Chris
soul.
Middleton to Washington.
Kyle Kuzma in Milwaukee, interesting. I've never been a huge fan. He's been okay. I didn't want him in Cleveland.
Because Nick, so before the show started, we were going through some of the guys who were possible trade targets of who we could talk about on the show. And when I got to Kuzma, he's like 30th on the list. Ryan just like sighs. He's like, all right, we have enough names. Once we got to Kyle Kuzma. So yeah, I totally agree.
I've never been a Kyle Kuzma fan. I don't think I ever will be. He's corny.
Didn't he get a massive contract from Washington, though? Or am I crazy?
I know Poole
did.
did.
He's got a big contract. That's why they had to trade Middleton to make that thing match, because Middleton's on a big deal too.
All right, well, we got to take another break. When we get back, hey, Bronny James, he just hit his first 3 of his career. I don't know what number DUI this is for Marcus, if it's his first. Does this factor into the GOAT debate between Michael Jordan and LeBron James? We'll talk about that and more when we get back here on The Big Factor. I'm glad this story came up in the news, not because it's ever good to see somebody get arrested or somebody breaking the law. But, Nick, I told you when you missed Monday's show that I was outnumbered in the GOAT debate 3-1. And that's coming from Jack Young and himself, Liv, our intern here, who's also, in fact, on the show, the youngest. They both said Michael Jordan was the GOAT, Nick. His son Marcus just got arrested. Marcus Jordan, that is in Central Florida. He's 34 years old on a drug charge after police officers found his car stuck on the railroad tracks right before a commuter train was scheduled to pass. He's charged with possession of cocaine, a second-degree misdemeanor, also resisting an officer without violence. And according to online records, he was arrested at 1:14 a.m., held on a $4,000 bond. That's not jack shit to him, I'm sure. Nick, am I insane to think that it was crazy that Jack thinks MJ's the GOAT?
That is crazy. And I want to say, too, like, we should be, like, his son's name is Marcus, right? I'm not making that up.
Yeah.
Like, we should be lucky that he's alive right now, you know, like, to be broken down on the train tracks, you know, with cocaine and you know, alcohol in your system. Like, that's a pretty scary spot to be in for Marcus Jordan. Yeah, I do think it's crazy that, you know, the GOAT debate is even brought up in this at all, you know, especially coming off the heels of just like last week, Stephen A. Smith on First Take went on this like rant about LeBron. And he's like, you know, imploring LeBron to stop this Bronny James madness. You know, and if we want to look in family dynamics and family matters, you know, and point to someone's father, you know, look no further than this slip up right here, especially because of what just happened last week. So yeah, it's bizarre that Ryan, Ken, and Liv, especially living in Cleveland, Ohio, still think that Michael Jordan is better than LeBron. But right now, we should just be lucky that this dude is even like alive, because that's a pretty scary. Like, there's getting a DUI, and then there's getting a DUI like with cocaine in your car, broken down on a train track. Like, that's really scary stuff.
You know, it's always a bad look or a bad thing when you have to ask the cops for help when you're in that situation. I mean, my mind immediately calls back to Shin-Soo Choo in 2012 in Sheffield Village, where he got pulled over or he flagged down an officer to help him with directions while he was drunk, and then got a DUI. From there on, go Tribe. But yeah, I mean, Nick, you're totally right. The biggest thing is that he's alive and well, because that could have gone way, way, way worse based off the situation. And the car being on the tracks too, with the train coming, that's not good.
Yeah, and we've seen how many, you know, like tragedies like that.
Oh yeah,
you know, where people are messed up, and then something even more messed up happens. So yeah, we really just glad that the dude's all right.
MJ couldn't slide him an Uber gift card for his birthday, but when talking to Marcus Jordan,
he's 34. He can buy his own Uber.
He slurred speech, bloodshot eyes, smelled of alcohol, and didn't seem to know where he was. You guys fans of body cam footage?
Oh yeah, dude! Like,
I watch those on TikTok all the time.
Go on YouTube, right? Well, first go on the App Store, download the Big Play app, and then after you do that, go on YouTube and just subscribe to Code Blue Cam.
Oh, I've never.
It is the best. It is appointment television. It's like it's cops, but it's better, because like it's literally just body cam footage and people crashing out, you know, from around the country, you know, on body cam footage. So it is like, it's literally like the old show Cops, but like they update it every single day. So you're constantly getting the newest and the freshest freakouts. There's this one where this guy got pulled over, and I forget what he was even in trouble for. It was nothing significant. It was like a speeding ticket or something. And he completely crashed out, and he starts ripping up his money in his car. He's like, "You want my money? Take my money. You want my sunglasses? Take my sunglasses too." And he like rips his sunglasses off his head and breaks them. And the cop was just like, "Sir, why are you acting like this?"
Bad day at the office.
That reminds me of, have you seen the video of the guy who's in the airport, who's just like freaking out for no apparent reason?
And he starts singing "Lose Yourself."
Yeah, no, he starts singing "Not Afraid" by Eminem, and like he's like, "I'm not afraid," and he like looks around to like get everyone else going, and like to take a stand, and like no one else does anything.
Have you guys seen the video of the dude at the airport taking a shit in the mop bucket?
Yeah,
that one's crazy to me.
What?
Yeah, he takes the janitor's bucket, starts taking a shit in it, and acting like he's doing nothing wrong, and they're trying to push him off. But he's refusing to let go of the bucket, so they're just like dragging him while he's taking a shit in it through the terminal.
So this isn't like near the bathroom. This is like out in the open. Too.
No, this is just in the middle of the terminal.
Was he mentally all there? Do we know?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Wow,
I don't think you could be mentally all there and try to take a shit in a mop bucket.
Yeah, it's probably similar mental makeup as the guy that was singing Eminem. But yeah, go subscribe to Code Blue Camp. Like it's literally videos like that, like these, but like with the police. So it's always really funny.
I want to watch a little bit of this and let me know what you guys think, because I feel like I want to watch it.
Why?
How long ago did this going on?
This just happened right now. We thought we were making a right, and I fucking turned onto the train tracks apparently. I'm trying.
But yeah, we're not getting back in the car right now, okay? The reason why, so
Do me a favor, keep your hands out of your pockets,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Keep your hands out of your pockets.
There's nothing in my pocket.
That's all. I'm gonna pass you down a little bit. Put your hands out there, you
Come on, man. You know, throw this thing in reverse.
Well, I've already got concerns for your level of impairment anyways, okay? So that's why. Because I can smell alcohol coming from you, and you're on the train tracks. Okay. So
Come on, man.
just
It's
listen
like,
to me.
bruh.
That's why I don't want you back behind the wheel anyways, okay?
I'm fine behind the wheel. I just would like to get my car out of
We'll
this.
deal with that after this, okay? We'll deal with that after this. But that's
Dude,
why
he
I
was
had to get you
all
out
the
car,
way on the
okay?
track.
Yeah.
You're spinning tires.
They bring it up. They're like,
I
dude,
hear
you were
slur speed from you,
down the
you're driving on
track.
train tracks.
I'm not slurring anything, and I'm
Okay. I'm letting you know. I have concerns. Okay?
well.
For
I
your level of
appreciate
impairment
that.
Driving a vehicle, I can't let you back behind the car and drive a vehicle.
I appreciate your concerns.
Yeah, I don't want.
But
you to get
I
hurt.
am not inebriated.
Juliet,
I'm not
635
anything that
550
cannot drive home.
90
I'm so confused about this.
460
What?
so
The thing
far.
My
is,
job is to keep everybody safe.
So did they
I'm
find
not
him or did he
familiar
call the
with this area.
cops?
I
I
think
made
they
a
found
right.
him.
'Cause I was gonna say, if you want to get the
I
car off
thought
the
I
tracks,
was
you
making
call
a right
AAA
onto
and
the
hope
highway
and put in a
I made
breath
it right
mint, you know? I mean, you don't call the
Train
cops.
10-12.
Yep.
Where did you turn at, man?
I wish
They
I
don't even
I
know
wish
where
I
he
could tell
turned
you,
in.
but
You're way down the train tracks. That's what I'm saying. It's not like you just turned.
we're not way down the train tracks. We made a right and another right.
So you had a passenger too, this girl.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know there's no physical possible way in this universe that we can push this car off the train track.
I disagree with that.
Oh,
Good line.
I mean, I get that,
I
but
disagree.
we're not
I
getting you back
disagree.
behind the wheel. Okay, not at this moment. Okay, there possibly is a train coming. Okay, so we need to get off these tracks. That is my concern right now. For you guys' safety and our own.
Do you guys think we get a statement from Mr. Michael Jordan?
No, I don't think so. You know, it is two separate things. So it's almost a little bit messed up in a way that like this is getting covered the way that it is. Obviously, though, he's a person of interest, and when you're a person of interest, you become susceptible to this kind of coverage. But dude, that's a skit. Like again, I know I keep going back to this. I probably sound like a little baby. Like, dude, that's scary. Like they were deep in there. Like he said he took 2 turns on the train
He said,
tracks,
I took a right.
and then another right. Like, dude, he was deep on those train tracks. That's not good.
He should have took 2 more rights and he would have been back where he started.
Yeah, that was a minimum of at least 4 wrong turns to get out in the woods and have that happen, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Thankfully, I've never.
Thank God the cops got to him, though, dude. Like,
Oh, he would have kept the ship going, Nick. That thing would have kept on rolling if he would have gotten it off the tracks.
Oh yeah.
Well, we got to take one more break on the big factor of today's episode. Joe Biden signing an agency deal probably doesn't mean what you think. Didn't mean what I thought at first. We'll talk about that and wrap this bad boy up here on the big factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Big Factor, Big Play Sports Network. Ryan Tyler, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Padone. Our former commander-in-chief, President Joe Biden, has signed with the Los Angeles talent agency. This signing marks a reunion with the creative artist agency, CAA, actually, which represented him from 2017 to 2020 before he became president. Blah, 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 blah. They just glaze over Joe Biden. Yes, this isn't, he's not getting cast in a remake of Weekend at Bernie's. He's not auditioning to play a zombie in The Walking Dead. I believe this is for book signings, Jack. They're signed with the Obamas, Michelle, and Barack, who also had books. Hillary Clinton, they're somehow connected with her. I don't think Pizzagate. But Higher Ground has led to the creation of award-winning films, television shows. So I don't think we're getting Joe Biden in any Oscar-worthy films or shows, but maybe a book from old Joe Biden.
Yeah, you know, when the betting odds came out on where he was going to sign, you know, you had To the Moon up there, and you had CAA, and he did choose to take CAA. And yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. You're going to get a book or two about the presidency, probably. I feel like those are always hot cakes that sell right off at your local Books A Million. But yeah, I mean, if it's going to be the movie route, you got to think it would be something along the lines of what you said. Maybe like if Uncle Drew has a part 2 and comes out, he could hoop up with Kyrie maybe. Yeah, that, or maybe the Gardos spend some money this offseason. As Nick said, you know, team went to the ALCS, cleared out about $30 million in cap space, hasn't used it yet outside of Vince Velasquez and co. So maybe Joe Biden, you are a Cleveland Guardian.
Is he through arbitration yet?
I mean, gosh, he's been in politics for, I think, 40 years now, so you got to think he's at least getting to ARB. He's definitely not pre-ARB, but yeah, no, I would think the Guards could probably get him on like a 2-year with a player option, maybe like $4 million a year, something like that. I think the president makes $4 million a year, so it would be standard.
Joe Biden or Will Brennan in right field, Jack?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, if you're asking Jack O'Rourke, you are absolutely putting Joseph R. Biden out in right field this season. You know, a guy growing up in Delaware, you know, he's got a nice little stance right side of the plate, opens up a little bit, helps out those righty bats middle of the lineup. You know, Lane Thomas might be gone after this year, so you're going to have to stock up on those righties. And I think he might play better defense and probably have a better eye at the plate. So
I'll say this, for Joe Biden's sake and for CAA's sake, you know, CAA is going to get a cut out of anything that our former president does here in his 80s now. Yeah, he'll probably make more doing books and stuff than he would playing right field for the Gardos.
Maybe an Untold.
The thing is, and like, this is not trying to get political. Like, I feel like Joe Biden, like, I feel like he's kind of a boring guy, you know, like he likes ice cream. He fell off the bike the one time. That was funny. But like, outside of that, like, are people that curious to know like more about him? Like Obama Untold would be interesting. You know, first African-American president. He's got a lot of hobbies.
Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. Same with like Trump. Like Trump is like a, you know, complete wild card, serial businessman, has lived like 3 different lives. Joe Biden is a lifelong politician and he's, you know, 80 some years old. I just wouldn't be that interested in like, of books that I would read, like his wouldn't be that high up there.
Yeah,
that's not me trying to get political at all.
He's like a game manager kind of, you know, like no one's going to read the Kirk Cousins book when it comes out one day when you got guys like Obama and Trump who definitely are more polarizing and probably have more to say. So yeah, I don't, maybe he does go to the Guardians because of that though. I mean, we need something going on, and maybe he could be an in-game host with Gab. They could like rock back and forth. Who knows?
You can't.
Hey, Jensen Lewis, the Big Play Cleveland show is going to be the only place that you could hear Jensen Lewis give takes about the Gardos. He's not going to be on the broadcast anymore. So maybe a little Joe Biden pregame, postgame.
Could you imagine, dude? Joe
Biden,
the
baby Hulk.
Joe Biden and Al Pawlowski. Joe Biden and Al Pawlowski on your TV screens every single day. I mean, just imagine. It is the middle of July. You're playing the Royals. No one gives a shit. We're 60-60, fighting for a playoff spot. And Joe Biden does know who's on the mound. Al Pawlowski might not even know who's on the mound, but you tune in for the appointment viewing because they're going to stumble and talk through whatever they want about your Cleveland Guardians.
Hey,
I would be there.
What's the difference between Joe Biden and Al Michaels at this point? Give it up. You got to retire at some point.
I'm still not going to take the Al Michaels slander. He's one of the goats of the industry.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he could, like, Tom Brady's the GOAT.
Respect your elders, just like Lee Corso.
He's not going to go out and win another Super Bowl.
Joe Biden would be like, is this Bob Feller making his debut for the Cleveland Guardians in the middle of the summer? And Al Pawlowski's like, actually, that's Shane Bieber. He missed all of last season with Tommy John.
He's like, do my eyes deceive me, or is that Carlos Santana. We got rid of him 9 years ago. No, Joe, you're right. That's actually Carlos Santana for the 3rd time in his career in a Cleveland uniform.
W. Bush was president when Carlos Santana started.
I was a House of Representative.
I remember when Curly O'Neill threw a perfect game back at Old Classic Park.
And Lefty Gomez on the mound for Cleveland today.
Yeah, they don't do names anymore like they used to. Tris Speaker, Nap Lajoie, Justin Cleveland, like they don't do names like that anymore.
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yeah, that's a good one. Babe Ruth even is better than the names we got now. Guys, Trump was not fucking with this. He said, quote, "You've got to be kidding me." He signed with a talent agency. I think he's got much bigger problems than that, but I wish him well. Guys, Trump is a TV man. He's run circles around Joseph R. Biden on the television screen.
I don't know why Donald didn't just become the most popular like version of Howard Stern of all time. Like there could have been a world where he was just like the ultimate troll and went into entertainment and just he could like Donald could be at Barstool and be Barstool's biggest name in a different world.
Yeah, no, say what you want about the angry, mean orange man. He's hilarious. Some of the stuff he says is hilarious.
It's as Nick likes. It's a common Nick phrase, but it's appointment television.
Watching Donald Trump debate is A-list TV.
I mean, it's
dude, they're saying, like, I want to see Stephen A. Smith like keep saying and has said for the last 8 years that he wants to debate Trump. Like, give me Stephen A. versus Trump on a debate stage. It would be so fun.
Dude, why do we keep rolling out Jake Paul versus Old Boxer 15 when we could have just had these two go up on the mic against each other? I mean, that's way more entertaining than anything Jake Paul's ever done.
Bro,
how about where it's Joe Biden signed with CAA, Joe Biden versus Jake Paul?
Yeah, bro, that would be probably the most competitive guy he's ever fought. Top 5 loudest crowd pops in history was when Donald Trump, when Hillary Clinton, he was debating her, and he said, like, thank God you don't have the nuclear codes. I can't imagine if you were president. And he goes, because you'd be arrested or you'd be in jail.
You'd be in jail.
Top 5 loudest crowd pops ever. I don't know.
He's an entertainer at his core. Like he is entertaining. That's a word for it.
Yeah, I'm wondering who would play Joe Biden in a movie.
Right now, presently himself, he's got a talent.
Yeah, he's got a deal for it. But are you going for realistic answers here?
Yeah, Clint Eastwood maybe.
Yeah, I don't think that's bad. Yeah, that's actually probably close to where my head was going to go. I think he's still alive, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Then he'd be perfect if he's alive.
All right. Well, good luck to Joe Biden in his post-presidency career. Good luck to him. That's it for our show today, guys. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you to Garage Beer. Thank you to Fairway Ford, Ohio. We'll be back tomorrow for Thirsty Thursday. Same people, same time. Until then, enjoy the hell out of the rest of your day. Hey, also tune in to bonus time tonight. I just had Bruce for about an hour tell me the history of damn near every Super Bowl in existence. So tune in. You'll learn a lot.
Stram, baby.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.